How's it going? What an interesting weekend. It really was an interesting weekend. And this is not what I was planning on talking about. Now, when it comes to Palestine, when it comes to Gaza, when it comes to Israel, I don't care for any side of it. Because it doesn't matter if I support Palestine, it doesn't matter if I support Gaza, it doesn't matter if I support Israel. It just keeps going. This has been going on for the 40 odd years I've been alive. It's probably going to go on for another 40 years. And possibly after we are dead, it's just going to keep going. Because Israel keeps making the same mistake over and over and over and over and over and expecting different results. Now, I'm not a battlefield strategy, I'm not a terrorist expert, nor am I a behavior expert, but I do know a pattern when I see one. Hamas attacks Israel, Israel responds, Hamas attacks Israel again, Israel responds, and the cycle just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. And the only thing that Israel's doing is losing the war of the public opinion. Because Israel is Goliath. Yes, Goliath. And the Palestine is David. We know how that ended. They become, I don't know, it's trying to explain it the best my ability, but Palestine is the underdog here. And people love a good underdog story, having the underdog defeat a person that they're not meant to defeat, a military that is stronger, a military that is more organized, a military that is well armed and well trained, and that is Israel. Israel has one of the top military in the world. The only thing that they lack is numbers. But by doing what they're doing, they're losing the war of public opinion. But let's go ahead and go to ground.news. Most of my information is going to come from ground.news. October 7th, 2023. Adatella tells Israel we're at war after Hamas launches an unprecedented attack on the border. Now, I will give props to Hamas. That attack that they did over the weekend was a discounted D-Day attack. They went from amphibious, they went from air, they went by land. It's a multi-pronged attack. They leveled up their game. Now, just because I can appreciate their tactics doesn't mean that I support a terrorist organization. From a military standpoint, from a military tactics standpoint, it's very impressive what they did. Doesn't mean I support the group by any measure. Major airlines canceled dozens of flights to and from Tel Aviv. I think that's from Iran. Republican blasts Biden for releasing $6 billion in frozen Iran funds ahead of Hamas attacks. October 8th, 2023, Benjamin Netanyahu warns people to leave Gaza as he vows to reduce parts of that territory into rubble. I mean, you keep on attacking Gaza, expecting a different result each time. All you're doing is creating more enemies. So what? You kill a terrorist. Now he has a family. His kids are now terrorists because you're pissing them off to fight against Israel. How the cycle continues. The cycle just continues and continues and continues. A police officer in Egypt killed 2 Israelis and 1 Egyptian at a tourist site in Alexandria. See here. Israel says 260 dead at a music festival attacked by Hamas. I'm hearing that they did some things to the female attendants. Hamas has enough Israel captives to free all Palestine prisoners. Well, guess what, Hamas? You're not going to be getting any of those prisoners. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm wrong. But if I'm Israel, what incentive would they have to release the Palestine prisoners just for them to arrest them again or kill them in the battlefield again? Let's see. A harrowing moment of Israel student begs don't kill me as she's snatched from a music festival by Hamas. Pretty sure that's what it says. Disturbing Saudi-Israel ties may have had motivated the Hamas attack, Blinken said, because Saudi Arabia was going to normalize their relationships with Israel, and the working theory is Iran and Qatar wanted to prevent that from happening, so they had their lapdog attack Israel in this pretty impressive manner. Like I said, I mean, the attack itself is impressive. Just because I could say that I'm impressed doesn't mean I support it. Because at the end of the day, the people that suffer are going to be the Palestine people who are beholden to a terrorist group, and the civilians on Israel that has to pay the price for this. Israel intensified Gaza strikes. Oh, this is on October 9th. Israel intensifies Gaza strikes and battles to repel Hamas over with 1,100 dead in fighting so far. See here, German tattoo artist ID as woman paraded through the streets by Hamas. Israel declares full control of community attack near Gaza. Terrorists are in my bedroom, the haunting message of helpless relatives received after Hamas attack. Israel Defense Minister orders complete siege on Gaza Strip with no electricity, food, or fuel. Once again, pissing them off. Iranian President Abraham Razi backs Hamas attack and calls for Palestine's right to self-defense, although they attacked Israel. I think this all started because 3 countries attacked Israel, I think for the 6-day war, where they captured a bunch of their land. And ever since then, Israel had a big target on them, and they're using Gaza as the foot soldiers, or Palestine as the foot soldiers. And they initially attacked, and the reason why I don't support neither side, because neither side has the moral high ground. It doesn't matter who attacked first. It's been going on for at least 40 years, ever since I've been alive. Both sides have done their fair share of war crimes, in my opinion. Let's see here. Over 123,000 people displaced in the Gaza strips. Australia suspends aid to Palestine. Germany reviews for support. Gaza refugee camps in Jabalia destroyed by Israel strikes. An Israel airstrike kills 19 members of the same family in southern Gaza refugee camp. Iran denies it has a role in Hamas attack in Israel. Claims accusation is political. I mean, come on, you know you had a hand in it. And also Qatar or Qatar, or however you want to pronounce it. EU suspends all aid payments to Palestine. Let's see here. Gaza mosque reduced to rubble after Israel airstrike. I mean, it's kind of sad to see historical buildings being destroyed. But you know, war is war. War is hell. And if you're using a building and you're a terrorist group or you're the enemy, you're using a religious building, prepare for it to be destroyed. Let's see here. Mexico deploys planes to Israel to return nationals. Let's see here. Israel-Palestine supporters rally across U.S. and the Europe, or the EU as well. Israel survivors recount the terror at the music festival where Hamas militants killed at least 260 people. That was a slaughter. That was shooting fish in a barrel. Blinken deletes post for calling for ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. You know, you want to be calling for a ceasefire. I mean, I don't care which side you support, you would want a ceasefire. That gives you an opportunity for a peace still. Because peace is the ultimate goal here. Now, the Tello tells Biden we have to go into Gaza following the Hamas attacks. Reports. I mean, you're just taking the bait, Israel. You're just taking the bait, and the cycle just continues. The wheel of time continues. This here, civilian hostages in Hamas custody killed in Bayir near Gaza border. CNN verified video shows. This here, Egypt reportedly warned Israel of possible attacks. I mean, sounds familiar. Israel strikes and seals off Gaza after incursion by Hamas, which vows to execute hostages. Here, Hamas military spokesman says it will kill civilian hostages anytime Israel targets Gaza civilians without notice, I'm pretty sure. See here, Israel war, more than 100 dead recovering in Israel farming community from Hamas attack. Coverage analysts, all those things. Israel calls up for 300,000 army reservists after its war with Hamas rages on, because in Israel, if you're a citizen, service is required. Health Ministry in Gaza says more than 680 people in the territory killed in Israel strikes. Senior Hamas official says Iran Hezbollah has no role in Israel incursion, but with help if needed. Turboville won't lift military holds despite Israel-Hamas war. Hamas official says it's open to discuss a truce over with Israel. You pretty much punch Israel in the nose and be like, all right, let's go ahead and talk peace now. We bloodied your nose. That's all we wanted. I'm sorry, you find out. You mess around and you find out. Let's see here. Qatar negotiation hostage swap or hostage prisoner swap between Israel, Hamas reported. From what I understand, this is harboring terrorists. Qatar, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Israel calls up 300 army reserves, and it's as the war with Hamas rages on. Israel calls up in response to a multi-front Hamas attack, indicating preparation for a possible invasion. The chief military spokesperson confirmed that Israel is going on the offensive and aims to reestablish control over the border communities. Since the surprise assault on Saturday, Israel forces have been carrying out airstrikes on the ground. Battle to regain control. Reports indicate that both Israel and Palestine casualties are high, with hundreds of gunmen killed on both sides. There's currently isolated clashes of uncounted U.S. citizens, and Israel is working with the partners to determine their whereabouts. IDF soldiers have been deployed across the border areas and conducted searches. I think the total is up to 11 dead Americans. I mean, I should feel angry about that, but they went to Israel. I mean, they're not even part of the northern Israel. They're at the southern Israel where Palestine is. So it's kind of hard for me to have sympathy. I mean, let's see here. Now, this was an old story. This was 3 years ago. U.S. to restore about $150 million in aid to Palestine. The Biden administration plans to unveil packages of $150 million in U.S. aid to Palestine, restoring parts of the assistance that was cut off by former President Donald Trump. People familiar with the matter said on Wednesday. This is the CNN story that was published at 8:44 a.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, April 8th, 2021. I'm not going to read it. Breaking protests in front of Israel embassy in London, supporting Palestine and condemning Israel offensive in Gaza. See, this is what I'm talking about. Israel is losing the war. It may win militarily. It may win the war in Gaza. It may win against the Palestine. But the public support for Israel is dwindling. And this is why I can't support Israel, because they don't have the moral high ground. Even though they were just attacked. But that attack was retribution for the other attacks that they did on Palestine and Gaza which was it's just a retaliation. It's a tit for tat. So usually what the cycle is, Hamas attacks Israel. Israel responds in kind with overwhelming forces. They go silent for a couple months to a year or two. They attack Israel again, and then Israel returns in kind with overwhelming force, and the cycle continues and continues and continues. It's a definition of insanity. There is going to be no peace in Israel and Palestine unless one or two sides capitulate, or one side is dead, or both sides are dead. Now, I'm not saying that we should go door to door, any of that nonsense, but one way that Israel can win the war is to take over Palestine, become its police force, target the terrorists, build up the infrastructure in Palestine, offer them training, and make them an exporter of resources. Not an importer of weapons, but an exporter of resources. Make them part of Israel. Teach these people that Israels are full of love. And to deprogram these people that are filled with lies of hate. Now, I'm not saying Israel's also full of love and all that good stuff, but they have slightly higher morals when it comes to this. It's the way a stronger country is supposed to do, is go into the opposing side, the side that is attacking you. Go in, show kindness, but be firm about it. And while you're there, you set up networks to be able to track the terrorist group or other groups that want to do you harm, so you could surgically strike those members, those cells. You take out cell after cell after cell after cell, leaving the ordinary citizens unharmed, showing that you care about their safety, showing that you respect them on a basic humanity, not just by dropping bombs willy-nilly on the city. Destroying it to rubble is not the answer. That just makes more cells. It makes more hatred. It makes more terrorists. And guess what? People may listen to this and may agree with me or disagree with me, or they're just going to ignore what I say and just continue on, and the cycle will continue and keep continuing. With that being said, that is my video for today. But most importantly, if you're in Israel or Palestine, stay safe. And most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.